I think everyone needs a mentor.
They
If
need
it's your
us,
dad,
yes.
it's
someone.
even better.
But at first, it's super comforting to be insulated with that, and then you progress to a point where it's a hindrance.
All right, if you want to live in Vegas in a fully turnkey renovated property, you don't have many options.
No, and even on our entry-level flips, I mean, to a smaller level, it's the same thing. Like, hey, you want to live in this area, you don't have a choice. You're going to pay this price or not.
If you guys haven't heard us before, we are the Boakley Brothers. That is our outward-facing brand, but we do own the Boakley Group Real Estate. So we're investors, flippers, similar to Ryan. We own and operate a real estate brokerage here in Las Vegas, and we've also now started engaging in the education space and teaching people what we do and helping them start successful real estate careers.
For sure. So tell everybody a little bit about where you were last year and like the progress you've made this year.
Sure.
Yeah, I think last year, I mean, we just started doubling down and truly diving into the social media space and putting not only, time and effort towards it, but quite a bit of money towards it as well to try to create a business out of it. So prior to last year, it was kind of just for fun, showing people what we're doing. 2021, we really started saying, okay, this is going to be a business model. We're going to attack YouTube head on, and we're going to put out, 3 videos a week, every week, and we're not going to stop until it becomes something. And, we finally just in December, so we started in May, and by December, we finally got monetized. So
Yeah.
made a couple bucks out of it.
It's hard. It's hard.
I remember
Dude,
sitting
YouTube
at
is so hard.
It's so hard.
So I remember sitting at it was when we just joined Future Flipper. So it was the first mastermind. So I think it was Q3 mastermind of 2020.
Yep.
And you kind of just got monetized, or you were just at the beginning of monetization. You're like, here's where I made I could have bought a Chipotle burrito this day.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
Just
$4.
starts trickling in.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now is like, $5 a day.
Yeah.
$4 a day.
Yeah.
So,
The one, and it's funny because I look back at that and I look back at, I did an interview with Steve Trang around that time too. I think I had like 3,000 YouTube subscribers. And I remember telling him like, this is the way. Like I had such complete faith that it was the way to do it, even though there was really no proof. Like the proof was in that, yeah, other people before
Seen
me
other
have
people
done
do
it.
Yeah.
But I personally haven't done crap to that point. But I was like, it's going to work. I know it's going to work. And then I remember at the mastermind saying the same thing. I'm like, guys, look, this $20 I just made, it represents so much more than just $20. Like it's a proof of concept that, enough people want to at least watch something.
Yeah.
But
But it takes a long time to even get to that Chipotle burrito level.
where you can eat lunch for free
It
now.
really does. And honestly, I'm sure you have, and we've talked to a lot of people that we're trying to learn from. We're trying to get better at this as we go. And they tell us about their stories, about how they started and how long it took for them.
Yeah.
Some of these stories last years,
Oh, yeah, dude.
multiple years before they got to Chipotle burrito level. And we were able to do that, hearing from you and having that sort of guidance inside of a year, which I think is kind of incredible.
Yeah.
it just, we've been in flipping houses and, we've been fairly successful for two young guys flipping houses over the last couple of years. And it felt like an accomplishment starting something new from scratch and being at the bottom level and seeing it come somewhat to fruition. Like I think I posted about it. We made 75 cents or $1 on that first day or something. Like, that honestly, seeing that dollar in our monetization dashboard of YouTube felt better than making 20 grand on a small flip at this point.
100%.
It was fun to see.
We proved it to ourselves that this is something we decided to do, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort and money, and we stuck with it. and
Yep.
It worked.
And it's been about a year since you guys have really started doing it at this point.
We started May 1st. So
Oh, May.
we
Okay.
were monetized
So, like,
in
7
like
years or
7.5
7
months or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Cool,
But
man.
now our next question is, now that we're at about that level, we have about 4,000 subs.
Yeah.
How do I get my own plaque?
Oh, dude,
Yeah, what are we doing of those?
you got to have 100,000 to get one of those.
Yeah.
It's a hike to get there.
I know. I know.
What do you think is the catalyst to growing as quickly as you grew on YouTube? Is it collaboration? Is it, putting out a different type of value? Because, we're doing a lot on the flipping side of things, but, it's they're not rolling in,
Yeah,
on
as
a daily
fast as you'd
basis.
like.
Yeah.
So, man, okay. When I think about business, I think about because right, we're creating content as a business. We're structuring it like a business. I think about how I've grown and what I had initially thought about it, right? I remember when I first started, I was like, dude, if I could get to 50,000 subs in a year, like that would be mind blowing, because I knew watching other people dabble in it, like, dude, they'd have 200 subscribers, like, and they just quit. I was like, if I could just stick with it and get to 50,000 in a year, I'm going to be so happy. And I got to 75,000. In my when did I start? Like May. So in like 7 months, I got to 75,000. I was like, this is crazy. And I look back at what I learned from that. And then, the subsequent year, I gained about 100,000 in a year. So I had less growth, really. And just having more data and time to look at it, I think there are two things that happened. One, I got lucky during the timing. I just think that
Phenomenal timing.
Yeah, there was literally never better timing in the history of YouTube to start making content. And that was part of the reason I kept yelling it during the pandemic. I'm like, make content, make TikToks, because this is like an extraordinary time to do this. And so I think timing was luck, even though it wasn't really luck. I had an idea of why I wanted to do it. But the second thing is, I think I hit so much volume that I just got lucky on some viral videos, right? Like I would have never thought couch flipping would go
That
viral.
did so well.
And it's continued to do well.
Yeah.
Anytime I make a video on couch flipping, it's a guaranteed just killer view. And I never thought it would have did well, but it was only because of volume, right? And whether it was making 3 TikToks a day or 1 YouTube a day, I was willing to put in the work with no guarantee of return, right? Like it was just like, I think this is going to work and I'm going to just make as much content as humanly possible until it does. And when I get some ideas of what people like, I'll do more of it.
Sure.
And so I started doing more side hustle videos because people loved the couch flipping. And then those have always done good. So volume was huge. But the third thing would be, I would say, is faith. Like at the end of the day, when I look at what I was talking about then with no subscribers, I was 100% belief that it was going to work, that we were going to succeed. And then I look at like guys like Mr. Beast. If you guys ever watched Mr. Beast's old videos, he's like, I don't even know, like 12, 13 years old making a video. He literally made videos for like the first 5 years, and it took him like 5 years to get 1,000 subs or something crazy. But he stuck with it. And then he learned, he got better. Then he got one viral video where he gave a guy like $5,000 or something, and it went viral. It was like his first, and he goes, oh, that's what people like.
That's what I'm doing.
Give it away. Yeah.
But the only way he got to that point was volume.
Yeah.
And so I think in order to grow from 4,000 to getting that plaque, it's just going to be volume and figuring out which videos pop and then doing more of that video. And I don't know that you could just do the same kind of video over and over again and then have quick success. Because that's the tough thing too, is like when you look at real estate investing as a whole, you're like, man, okay, I'm going to dominate the flipping side or the wholesaling or the whatever, right? But then you're still like only giving yourself one chance to succeed. Like Mr. Beast was a gamer. If he only did gaming and he never gave that guy $5,000, he would have never known.
Yeah. Still would have been a long road ahead.
Yeah, you have to explore other lanes. And that's what I've even seen from people that do so well on TikTok is they start an account, they do any idea they have, and then they have one that goes super well, and now that's their channel.
Right.
And it's a variety and variations of that,
right?
But it's now their lane, and they have to find that lane. We're kind of in the place where we've tried alternative things. I mean, we're keeping it in real estate, but we need to find that lane that we can then double down on.
Well, and here's the thing. Okay, even if you just stay only in the real estate lane, I was actually talking to Pace Morby about this because he was asking the same thing. I'm like, okay, you've niched down on creative finance, and this is all you want to do. That's fine, but there's a cap to how many people are interested in creative finance, right? And you can own that niche, which he does. And at some point, you got to like maintain the niche and maintain your status as the top dog of that niche, but then start branching out into some other stuff, right? So for you guys, I would say figure out how to own a niche within real estate. So if that is the luxury flips, there's not many guys doing luxury flips showcasing it. Like there's no reason you couldn't own that niche. If it's with, I I don't know, like there's wholesaling and stuff. Like guys like Jerry Norton and Kong have been talking about wholesaling for a while. In my eyes, they kind of own that niche. Graham Stephan, perfect example, owns the personal finance niche, right? Like he got there first, he built it, he owns it, and now he just makes content on that and he owns it. So I would like look for a lane that you can own first and foremost, and then once you own it, start thinking about other stuff.
Sure.
We love designing them, we love flipping them, and we love the profits that come out of it at the end of the day as well. So it's
and it's a very unique thing that not everyone can even try to emulate, right? So like there's a great book called Blue Ocean Strategy where it talks about how everybody fights in this little pool of competition, right? And so for us, for a long time, that was in the entry-level houses, right? Everybody's fighting for the same house and then just diminishing profits along the way. But if you go to the Blue Ocean where no one fights, you just do whatever you want. And so luxury flips are that blue ocean. And even if guys like me and whoever else want to go in it, there's so much ocean that it just doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the profits are better. The competition is less. It's just like overall, it's just a better business model as long as you can execute it.
Yeah.
And it takes a different skill set with design, with capital, with, risk tolerance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even analyzation, like you're not looking at the same data points in an entry-level community as you are in a luxury community. You also kind of have to like know,
feel,
say that
there's gut.
There's a
Right,
feel
there's a
to
gut
it,
instinct
and there's
to
a
it that you
way
don't
that you
learn.
can kind of go there and go like, okay, this feels right. in
Well, there's
this
just not
place.
comps the way that there are with entry-level cookie cutter homes. You're like, I mean, this guy maybe is he's not flipped and he got this, so I have to pretty much assume what I think a flipped one is worth. Or, this guy, he sold for that, but he didn't have the view. He didn't have like. There's so many factors that we don't think about with just normal flips.
No.
yeah. I mean, the
definitely
one
not.
we just did. I mean, we never would have walked into that house and thought we could sell that for what we actually sold it for this last week without really having that feeling of opening it up and what the space was like and how special that house was.
Yeah, we can actually
I mean,
talk a little bit about that because we did a video last year, I think first quarter, sometime around there, where we were selling our biggest luxury flip yet.
Yep.
And we talked about what we did to it, the design of that house, and ultimately we bought it for thinking we were going to sell it for X, but sold it for Y and made, I think it was like
400 grand or something.
400
Yeah.
and change.
Right.
And so this one,
just crush that.
Yep.
coming on the heels of that one, was bigger house, better neighborhood, just more going for it as a home and a structure itself.
Right.
Higher price point in the purchase, higher rehab. So we're now taking on more risk,
Right.
more willing to do that, being more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Biggest house, biggest rehab budget yet. Definitely above our
What-
standard comfort zone.
Give us the numbers.
So we bought it for, what was it?
1425.
1425. We initially thought we were going to spend, this is
Like
ridiculous.
200 to
200
250.
into the
Yeah,
house.
Looking back,
220.
oh my God.
something
Hey,
like that.
but it goes to show too, like even once you're successful, you still make big errors.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it was our inexperience for underestimating it. Even though we worked with people, we didn't just come up with that number. We worked
Right.
with people, and that did sound like a solid number. Although once you're involved in that extensive of a flip,
Yeah.
you should know better that things are going to change. So it started at 200, ended up at like 300.
Yeah, 300,
It's a
325,
big
something like
change.
that. But,
Yeah.
we didn't go over budget on it. What we did is we got in there. There was a bunch of walls. There was like a puzzle when you walked in the door. And all the walls came down. Nothing was load bearing. So it turned into one huge, like 4,000 square foot wide open space. And we're
Mhm.
like, okay, this is a whole different house than what we thought we had bought.
Right. This
We're-
feels different now.
We were going to put VCT in it. We were going to do, certain things to it that would have made it just a standard luxury flip.
Right.
But when we opened that space up, we looked at it and we go, okay, this needs 24 by 36 tile throughout. This needs a 22-foot slider in it. This needs this, this, and this, which added up to about 120,000 over. But when we initially comped it, as a standard flip with a 200K rehab, we thought we were going to sell this thing for like 2 million to 2.1, make a quick 150 to 200 on it, and that's a solid return. That's a
Yeah.
solid luxury flip.
That's what we
Yeah.
look for.
10%.
10%. And, after we put the upgrades in it and did what we did to it, we ended up closing it just recently for 255.
Crazy.
So, that little bit of, thought that went into it, and our instinct to over upgrade it at that point once we saw the space gained us another 400,000. So I think we made like 610 on that.
It's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So even speaking of that, man, like, speaking of owning a niche in a lane, it's like, man, there ain't many people out there making 610 on luxury flips and who are, planning to continue to do that, right? You could do it one time and, anybody can do something one time, but, the true, I guess, idea of success is continually repeating it over and over again. Like, this is what I do, and you guys have proven that. And I think you can continue to prove that throughout your content, right? I've seen guys like Ennis, he's been on the podcast. He tours luxury homes.
Right.
And when he started, he was just touring, I don't want to call them normal, but like $2 million homes, right?
Sure.
And like people are like, this is cool. Then he just films a 4 million, then a 5 million. And now the guy won't tour anything like under 40 million.
Yeah.
This
has got to be a mega mansion now.
Yeah. And it's just not worth his time. And so he like scaled up because he realized people like this. People like these luxury tours, and they like them as they get more and more crazy. Mr. Beast the same way. He gives 5,000, then he gives 10, then 100. He's like, now I can't give away less than $1 million without people.
I just watched an entire. I watched all of it because it's so intriguing to watch. He did the Squid Games one, which was awesome to see, and then he did one where there's, I think, 4 guys, a box of $1 million. You had to put your hand on it. Last person to take their hand off the box
keeps it.
And it's like such a simple concept, but so intriguing to watch. And you can't turn away from it. You got to see who wins.
Yep. Yeah, I think another good example is my friend Erica Kohlberg. I saw her a couple of months ago. She's the girl on TikTok now that does the lawyer stuff. Like, Erica reads the fine print. And,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like she finds all these little like tactics you can use to get free stuff from these big companies. So anyways, she had no TikTok. She had like 200,000 on YouTube. So already a successful creator, but no TikTok, maybe like, I don't know, 20,000 on Instagram. And all of a sudden she starts making these TikToks where she's doing like the little skit back and forth, but like everyone's done those skits. Like they're not anything new that anyone's never done, but she added a little twist to it. She was like, and I'm a lawyer and I read the fine print. This is why. It was just like this little twist to the same skit that everyone's always done. And all of a sudden, it went freaking bananas. Crazy. And I remember I was texting her. She got to like 250,000 in a week. And she goes, TikTok's crazy. I should have been doing it sooner, like you were telling me. And I was like, literally, make that skit every freaking day. Like, just find any skit, like, just do it over and over again. Dude, literally, she got 1 million in like less than a month. Then she got, I think she's at like 6 million in like, I want to say 3 months.
She just has such a relatable way to tell each story too, because she tells it from a person who didn't know about it. And her sign out to every single story that's just repeatable and she just iterates is, wow, how did you find out about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's because I follow Erica on TikTok. And it's every time.
Erica's a lawyer. She reads the fine print.
Yeah.
And she got like 2 million Instagram followers now. It's crazy, dude. It's freaking crazy. And we were talking about it. And it's going to be interesting what she chooses to do now with the following. Because we were talking about ways that she could build her business up through it and stuff. But it goes to show, right? She owned this thing that everyone's done before. Luxury tours are nothing new.
No.
House flips are nothing new. But how do you make it unique in your own way? And she found a way to do it on accident, right? It's not like she thought that it was going to be this crazy plan.
Stumbled into it.
Yeah, she was just messing around. She saw other people do this style. She had her own twist and boom.
Yep.
So I've even thought about that for my own, like, okay, what's the next phase? Like, okay, I got to where I got. How do I get to the mega level, right? Like what niche or thing do I want to do that makes me unique? Because I think my exact plan that I've been using is just volume, good content, just value. And I think I'll continue to slowly grow the way I'm growing. I think the last year proved that, but it won't get me to the viral next level. So I'm looking at different ways I can do things a little bit different.
Take some leaps instead of steps. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think going into the different, avenues of entrepreneurialism or business, like the metaverse is a way that you could take it to the next level, right? I mean, now you're appealing to, we're talking about brick and mortar real estate where we flip and we could look and touch. You're going into designing homes and buying land in
Yeah.
a digital world. I mean, tell us about that.
Yeah, dude. So once again, kind of like Erica's and everyone else's, like, it's not like I looked at the metaverse and I was like, I'm going to own this. Like, this is going to be my niche. It was just like, this is intriguing. Like, let me know more. Like, if Facebook feels the need to change their entire name, it must be pretty important, right?
Sure.
And already having friends in crypto, just like, I'm like, all right, let me go run around these worlds just for myself to see what the hype is. And, you run around, you do it. Then you start talking to other people who are like already in it and thinking about the future. I'm like, okay, I get it now, because this isn't just about, hanging out with your friends and sitting in some virtual room together. That's not fun. People ain't going to do that. People have the misconception that like we're all going to just sit at work in the metaverse. Like
the Oculus on.
Yeah, like maybe one, like, I don't know, but I don't see it that way. Like, for example, right, we're in real estate. EXP has their like little Sims game that is their metaverse for how people. I've never met an EXP agent who hangs out in the EXP metaverse, like just networking.
Do
like,
they have that?
Yeah, they do. They've had it for a long time, and I think they're ahead of their time. It's just like, I just don't think that's how people are going to use the metaverse. So the way that I look at the metaverse is like, it's the next evolution of social media. Social media was the evolution of, hanging out and meetups and all these things, right? Like before, okay, if you and I wanted to go do real estate together and there was no social media, in order for me to find you, we'd have to go to a local meetup or an event or a seminar, right? Tony Robbins, these guys been making killings off throwing events and seminars, right? So then social media comes along and makes it very easy to connect and find other people, right? Now people, if you're dating, do it through social media. Like that's 90% of relationships are done through social media on dating now. 10 years ago, that would have been weird.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, this is changing quick. What's the next evolution from social media? Well, Facebook's already telling you. They're like, it's the metaverse. So what's it going to look like? Well, I think there are two ways that this is going to play out. The first way is that Facebook, YouTube, Google, well, they're the same thing, Apple, all these big companies are going to create their own version of the metaverse. Like they all already did it. Well, they haven't done it, but they're working on
Their own worlds.
Their own worlds. Because to take a step back, when you look at what Netflix did, Netflix, beat out Blockbuster, revolutionized streaming, right? Then they were by themselves. It took all the other companies a long time to catch them. And they haven't even caught them. But like Apple then released Apple TV years later. Disney Plus just came out. Right. Like they're so slow. They just came. ESPN. Now you're seeing all the networks, the Hulus. All these guys came after, and as a way to consume content. You see TikTok come along and revolutionize short form content. Guess what happens? Facebook copies them. Instagram, YouTube, they all copy them. And if you just see that the metaverse is the next target that everyone's going to copy, you know that, okay, this is going to happen. But there's a big difference in the metaverse this time around, is that people don't need Facebook and YouTube and social media as these places to hang out and create content and to build their business upon. Because if I look at my business right now, yeah, I've got my real business, but the way that I get traffic to my business, I don't own.
You have to use those.
I use Facebook. I use YouTube. I use whatever this is streaming on. And I use their turf to get my traffic to my real world business. And I can do that once they create their metaverses, but there's also decentralized ones where I don't have to use anybody's turf.
Right.
I own the land. Nobody can ever take it from me. They can't suspend my account. They can't censor me. Like that's the problem with a lot of these people who only have one platform. The moment they ban you or shadow ban you or censor you,
you're done.
Your business is over.
Yep.
I've seen it happen many times. But with decentralized, nobody can do anything, right? And the other part of it is you can get paid to do whatever you want on there. So right now, right, it's super cool that you guys made a Chipotle burrito. Like the YouTube's paying you to do their thing, right? But YouTube's making a killing off you. And that's how they do it. But with this,
kind of cool to know, though.
Yeah, it is cool. So decentralized, though, what if you could just make your content, make all the money, do whatever you want, and that's like where it's going.
Yeah.
Is in the end, these metaverses are going to be places where you can build your business, like literally a 3D configuration of your business. It's going to be a place where people can go buy your products. It's going to be a place where people can have an event where they can, play games. There's going to be all these things that they can do, and you can charge them to do within the metaverse. And you're going to own 100% of it. Nobody can ever take it down. And you're going to be able to, do whatever you want. It's crazy. 2 of my students' luxury house flip that's going to make them $400,000. Their names are Landon and Jesse Boakley, and they've been out here in Vegas crushing it for many years flipping houses. But this year in 2021, they're taking it to a new level. Between this house making over 400 grand and a wholesale that they did for over $300,000, things are about to get crazy for them. So let's go check out the house and see how they were able to pull this off. What's up?
What's going
Oh,
on?
man.
Good to see you.
Come take a look around.
man.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Appreciate you for letting us film this, man.
Of course.
Let's check it out.
Yeah. All right, so let's just jump into it, man. I'm looking at this kitchen over here, and it's absolutely crazy. This
go
is
check
one of
it
the
out.
best kitchens I've ever seen.
Yeah, we did some custom stuff to this one.
Yeah.
Dual marble waterfall islands. Huge customization factor that we did here.
Yeah. I love having the double island because you can use it as a dining table. You can use it as like a party table, buffet.
What you don't see though is all of the work that we had to do to create this second island.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about like the remodel on this because this wasn't cheap.
So this second island wasn't cheap and it wasn't easy to create either. We had a wall that was closing off the kitchen that started at the end and went all the way to where our pantry is now.
Wow.
So when you walked in the door, you completely stared at the back of your kitchen. So opening that up allows you to walk in and see the entire thing.
So did it kind of follow this?
Exactly. It followed this soffit right here. And the pantry, I'm standing actually in the old pantry right now.
Which, from the viewpoint of the front door, completely closed off this kitchen.
You couldn't even see it.
No, you couldn't see any of the factors, any of the back walls. You could not see anything into the kitchen from walking into the house. So that viewpoint really opened this whole room up.
Yeah. So the next thing I noticed that you guys did was this back area. Like I love the shiplap that you used right here. This stove is enormous.
Yeah, so this is a 48-inch range. Typically in the high-end properties, we put a 36. So this is the first 48-inch range that we've put in.
Okay. So is this like commercial grade? Like what would they say this is?
It's still residential, but it's just like that niche high-end appliance that you're only gonna find higher dollar range.
Yeah, definitely an upgraded appliance from the standard. And then this is kind of our, I guess, signature now, as the signature hood that we've been doing in a lot of our remodels.
You see it a lot now.
Yeah, it looks really good. I think I copied it on one of mine.
Actually, the application of it though is actually a very smart thing to do because buying a gigantic or an ornate hood for this, especially with a 48-inch width, would be so overly expensive. But these inserts that actually go in here are super cheap.
There's only a couple $100.
This is actually like a 30-inch hood, but you guys can make it look bigger.
Exactly.
Wow, that is smart. So you've got this huge fridge over here as well. Beautiful fridge.
This fridge took about 12 weeks to get in because of the pandemic. They're having a huge back order on appliances. So this brand new fridge costs about $10,000. It's a GE.
Every time I go into these luxury homes, I'm like, I gotta see the fridge,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Like, beautiful fridge. So walking over here, you've got this living room that is beautiful. It's massive. Right when you walk in, it's just everything's open. And you catch your attention on this fireplace.
This is the showpiece of the house, right?
Exactly. We usually do what you probably see a lot of flippers do, which is the focal point of the living room gets a feature wall, and you put a fireplace and you put a TV over it. But since we had that available space over there, and that's actually where the old fireplace was, we took out the gas unit, decided to put the TV there and make some sort of art piece on its own. And we did that with this fireplace.
And this fireplace is actually made out of custom book match porcelain slabs. And the porcelain slabs, they're super expensive to fabricate.
Wow.
Yeah, this one was about $55 a foot to fabricate.
That's insane. I do love that you guys kept this the way it is because almost every single house you see, the TV isn't in the fireplace. And it's not like it looks bad, but it's just, you never see a fireplace by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have left a huge blank space over here between the door and the actual show wall. So it really filled in all the spaces, but how could we kill the beauty of this fireplace.
Yeah.
This thing is...
It definitely adds a level of elegance to the house that you just don't find a lot of rehabs in town or anywhere, really.
Yeah.
And then with the free hanging shelves on the side of it, nice and lit up, we love this wall.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Let's check out the master.
So walking into the master, one nice thing about the master in this house is it's separate from all the other bedrooms in the house. It's opposite side of the house, which is great.
Yeah, I love that. And this is a really big bedroom over here. You've got a nice little sitting area. You can go to the pool directly from here. You got good views of the grill and everything. Like, I like it.
It's situated really nice.
Well, the other part too that really is nice about this house is the 12-foot ceiling. You don't see 12 feet very often. Like, it feels enormous.
Right, every room in the house is huge and it makes it brighter too. The windows are a lot bigger. There's a lot more light that's able to come in with the 12-foot ceiling.
Yeah.
For sure. So let's check out that bathroom, because this, I was looking at this before we, started filming. I'm like, wow, this is like a 12-foot glass. It's, so many.
You gonna hop in there or what?
So much room for activities, man.
Let's hop in
Yeah, there's only, just 3 dudes in a shower.
We're gonna host our podcast now from the Master Shower.
This is the Master Shower podcast, Oakley Brothers.
Yeah, so we got the custom niches on either side. One thing I really like is the...
Before you say that, I didn't even notice this niche. Like, this looks like an art piece more than anything too. I didn't even realize, oh yeah, this is a...
Since there is so much, I guess you could say, unused side of the shower where, I'm not under any of the faucets or shower heads, so it's really just a bench where you throw your stuff or towels or anything. Yeah. You kind of have to dress it up to make it look intentional.
This bench is super comfy and it feels very luxurious, and I like
Let's
it.
see, space for 2? Space for 3.
Space for 3, guys.
Like we could, All
right. This is getting a little too weird for me now. Like, just us going in it was that was good enough. But now you got weird. But you got this master vanity that looks really good. Tell me about these mirrors. These got to be custom.
Okay, so these mirrors, you wouldn't believe it, as beautiful and as custom as they look. We have our contractor build these mirrors for about $150 a piece.
Wow.
The great thing about having him do that is every home's a little bit different. So no matter how large or small our bathrooms end up, we're actually able to make them to size and make them so that the layout of the sinks, the vanities, the makeup area, they all get the appropriate size.
Yeah, because you could adjust it this way. I mean, in this house with the 12-foot ceilings, you had to make them extra long. I mean, like, when you look at it, you're like, yeah, why do you need a mirror all the way up there? You're not going to, unless you're Shaq, but it just looks really good.
So again, it's just so cool that we can do customization like that on every flip that we do.
Yeah, let's go check out those other ones and see what you're talking about. Actually, before we go over there, I saw this laundry room, and this is one of the best laundry rooms that I've seen. Like, there's so much room, beautiful shelf.
Big laundry guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big laundry guy. I don't know, but
Someone
I appreciate it.
Someone who moves in here is going to have to be a big laundry person because there's plenty of room to do it.
The wife or whoever's doing the laundry, the maid, like, they're going to love this place. This is one of the best I've seen.
Ton of extra storage too, 2 closets and
2 huge coat closets. It's a really nice laundry room to have.
Yeah. Over here, you got that beautiful dining room. It kind of looks like you matched the sconces over there.
Yeah, it's a little modern farmhouse theme throughout.
Yeah. So over here, okay, you got a nice office going on. I like this.
Yeah, we staged it as an office. I think it'd be nice to have in the home, but it actually counts as a bedroom because we added a closet and we happened to open up to this bathroom here, so now we have a Jack and Jill.
So thinking through the luxury flip mindset and the profitability mindset of the deals, right? This was an office, so it wasn't considered a bedroom. So this house was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Adding the closet and access to the bathroom, it actually gave us a 4-bedroom. So we added the bedroom to the house, which in turn increases the profitability of the deal. So
yeah, and one thing to think about there too is nobody's gonna care that they have a closet in their office if they wanna do it. But you're gonna lose a ton of buyers who are only searching 4 bedrooms and up, and they may never even see this house or know that, hey, I could have created a bedroom. It was there, I just, missed it on my search.
Exactly. So we think it added a ton of value.
Yeah.
Also a little bit weird to have a 4,000 square foot house with only 3 beds.
Yeah.
Seems like a rather large house to only have that limited number of bedrooms.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest selling points of this house is you have a second master.
We do.
And it's like almost identical to the one we just saw.
It's just a mirror image of that other master on the complete other side of the house, which is nice, again, separating the others from the master.
Yeah.
But it's super wide open.
A couple things we did is we did want to make it feel like it was the secondary master. We wanted, for the owner's perspective, a difference of mindset between the upgraded master bedroom, which is mine, I own the house, and then the secondary master, which maybe the oldest child will live in, or the maid's quarters.
Your favorite kid.
Right.
Your favorite kid.
Your favorite child. Yeah.
Who was the favorite child out of you two?
I was the middle, so I have an older and a younger sister. So the middle child gets away with everything.
And I'm the baby too, so I get away with a lot as well. Spoiled. We're spoiled kids.
You didn't stage this room. Almost everything else was staged. Is it just not necessary?
Typically when we stage a house, we stage the main areas of the house. You stage the main living room or great room, the dining room, the kitchen areas, the master bedroom, and then we like to do all the bathrooms as well. So the secondary bedrooms are not necessary to stage.
Got it. So you got in here, another big bathroom. You didn't do the giant, 3-man shower. I already had enough 3-man shower for all of us. But you got a nice tub. You've got this wraparound shower, which is nice.
It's actually kind of cool, yeah. So it doesn't need a door, doesn't need any glass, and you just walk right in. Keeps it all enclosed.
Yeah, no, it looks really good, and I think this is a huge selling point to the home. What did you spend all in on this home for the renovation?
Well, we started at a number and ended up at a different number.
What did you start at?
So we started at about $160,000 was our initial budget on this property.
Okay.
After it was all said and done, we're at about $200,000.
$200,000 for 4,000 square feet. So dude, $50 a foot on a luxury home, it's still good.
It's not that bad, and you know what? Going $40K over budget on a home like this also isn't the end of the world.
And keep in mind, that includes putting an Illuma-Build over the back, a slider door, retiling the pool, doing a lot of stuff that we're not seeing right here.
Yeah, we haven't even checked out the pool. Let's go see that. So I'm really glad you guys added this slider. This opens up everything, the light, and then you got this indoor-outdoor feel.
Plus, it's just fun.
Yeah, sliders are always good.
Man, adding the slider to the house was probably one of the best additions we could have made to this property. Because if you imagine, this was walled off with just a couple smaller windows. It really made the room a little bit, much darker.
Yeah.
So now the light that comes in it makes it so much brighter.
What does something like this cost to do?
So a door like this, depending on, the only variability in the doors are really the height and then the width, and depending on how many panels you put in. For a door like this spans about 12 feet. It cost us about $10,000 for the door.
Not any labor, that's
no
just material.
labor, no install, but then a couple $1,000 to actually put it in and frame it and install it.
Okay, so call it like 12 to 15
12
grand.
to 15-ish, yeah.
Okay, and this is like a 9-foot door?
I think it's 8.
It's 8,
Yeah.
8-foot door.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can imagine for 10 to 12 grand, the value that this brought to the house could have been
value.
50 to 75.
The impression you get now walking from the front door, seeing through the beautiful living room and all we did there, through your new door, into the almost new pool.
Every time we flip a house, you guys know this, we always look at a return on the rehab money. So it's like, okay, spending 15 grand, this brings my value up 75 grand at this type of luxury level for sure.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy 75K.
So you guys also have this pool, you retiled it, you finished this flooring, it looks great, and then you added that aluminum overhang, right?
Yeah.
How much does that cost?
Those aren't bad at all, actually. That one specifically, coming off of the house with 2 posts, only cost us about $4 grand.
Yeah, I think it was $4 grand, $4,500.
That's well worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in Vegas here, when you want to enjoy that outdoor kitchen, but the summer heat is killing you in the sun, it totally covers you.
And what they had over that originally was some beat up old Home Depot, just sitting on the ground canopy. So it was like almost a pop-up canopy over there. So we really felt the need to add that.
Major upgrade, and I love the paint job that you did.
Thank you.
The two-tone looks really nice. The tough part with exterior paint with the HOA is you got to get everything approved, right?
So annoying.
The most annoying
That's
thing ever.
probably one of the most underrated things that flippers don't think about is their paint colors.
Yeah.
Not just picking out good colors, but picking out colors that are going to get approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also landscape. HOA is very difficult to deal with on landscape, paint, and any exterior modifications. Yeah. So if you're going to flip a home, you got to make sure up front to start working on those approvals.
Yeah. Side note, so, my dream home is pretty close to here. Yeah. And we were thinking, man, do we want to be a part of this HOA or not? And I'm like,
No.
Definitely not.
Like, I want to just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
My architect is telling me, he's like, you're lucky you're not in this because they will not allow you to do what you want to do. I'm like, well, I guess we're never going to be in it.
The only way to build the home you want to build is to be outside of it.
Yeah. Or if they want me in, I'm coming in with no restrictions.
Yeah.
The Ryan Pineda compound.
I'll give you $100 a month, but I'm not following the rules.
No, I'm not even going to give you any HOA money.
No money.
No way. You can have me and just say I'm in it, but I'm not paying for it. All right, man. I mean, the backyard is beautiful. The entire house is beautiful. But we always want to hear about the numbers. I kind of talked about it out there. I already gave up the scoop. Like, you guys are going to make $400,000 on this home.
Oh, you let them know already.
I had to hook them in so they watched it till the end.
It's all good.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the deal. Like, how'd you find it? What'd you buy it for? And, we talked about rehab, but tell me about that.
Yeah, people find it crazy, but we buy a lot of our properties right off the MLS.
Even in a market right now where there's no inventory, you're still finding deals.
Almost every single one we find on the MLS.
That's crazy. So you bought it for $915. Did you get a commission with that too?
So we take the half a commission, so we do get a little bit of discount off $915. So I think our all-in cost on the purchase was $906.
Wow. So you bought it for $906. We spent about $200,000 in rehab. You're all in for 1.1. Realtor fees, closing costs, about $100,000.
Another 100.
Yep. So 1.2. What happened after?
So when we bought this house, we originally thought the after repair value, or ARV, was 1.3 to 1.5. We figured, okay, we can make a 75 to 120K hit on this house. Not a bad deal.
10%,
But of course, with where the market's at, we listed this property at 1.599, and we got 2 over-list cash offers at 1.65 million first day.
I want you to zoom in on this. That is how crazy the market is right now, that a house they thought they were gonna sell for 1.3 is selling above list price that's over 300,000 more than they projected. And they got 2 cash offers. Like, that's crazy. Like, do you think it was a reflection of the market? Was it a reflection of how great of a rehab you did? Probably a combination.
It's definitely a combination. We really tried to put our best foot forward with this house and spare no expense with the really cool things that we know people are going to walk in and say, well, wow, I'm done looking. I love this one.
Yeah.
So we want to give that impression, but also we can't ignore the fact that if you want to live here in Roma Hills in a renovated 1-story, what are your options?
You don't have any.
You don't have any.
Right. If you want to live in Vegas in a fully turnkey renovated property, you don't have many options.
No, and even on our entry-level flips, I mean, to a smaller level, it's the same thing. Like, hey, you want to live in this area at this, like, you don't have a choice. You're going to pay this price or not. So it's crazy times, I tell you right now. And it's weird because as flippers, we're like loving it because we're going to make more, but also it makes it a little bit harder to find more deals, so there's pros and cons. But dude, you guys killed it. I love seeing your flips every time. I was telling you guys many times, like, your renovations are top of the line, best of the best here in Vegas. Like I said, I think I stole your shiplap idea in ours.
You see a lot of flips, so we really appreciate that, honestly.
Why don't you just give us a quick rundown of who you guys are and how you got here?
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll start out. We were born and raised in Las Vegas, and we're cousins, but we go by the Boakley brothers simply because
Everyone calls us brothers.
when we show up everywhere, we're asked if we're twins and if we're brothers. So we feel now it's easier to just go by the Boakley brothers brand.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So, but starting out, I mean, I think it'd be really cool to explain where we were created, where we came from, even like a generation
Probably your
before.
moms.
I would say they probably needed a little help.
They probably created you, but
Yeah.
And
all
the
right.
help
With a little
that they
help from Dad.
received is who I want to talk about, because those guys are definitely the reason why we've done things we've done and where we are today.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah,
Our dads are identical twins,
Right.
which is also pretty rare. And they're from pretty much ground level, came from nothing, White Plains, New York.
Born to a family of 5 other brothers.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they grew up with no money. We're very poor, hardworking family.
Stole
And,
food to eat,
Right.
stole coats to keep their mom warm in the winter, and literally went down the street to collect tadpoles to sell them to the pet shop. That was their first business.
Right.
Wow.
So, one interesting thing about them is when they were 12, their dad went to work one day and never came back. So
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
that's
It is weird. It's crazy that being without a father, you could still be such a great father.
Right.
It's within you,
Right.
what you decide to do.
Has he ever returned? Have you guys ever
No.
met your grandpa?
Never heard from him again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Poof.
So obviously that molded them a lot. Tell me about like their journey. Obviously they're really big entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So, once that happened, they were kind of on their own and being identical twins and kind of the outcast with the other brothers because they were such good friends from a young age, being twins. They kind of went on their own and started doing business since they were little. When they were 15 years old, they started buying mini bikes and fixing up mini bikes. They're super handy guys. I mean, probably the most handy guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
They did a whole lot of stuff like that back in New York, ended up making the jump to Las Vegas, started from the ground again selling shoes, then got into pool concessions in one of the strip pools.
Okay.
And was making
guys
money
are-
hand over fist with
Yeah.
that. And then just basically built up. One day they went to buy their first, let's say their first retail location. They were going to open an ice cream shop. So they went to meet this guy at the ice cream shop and he's late. He's not on time there. So they're like, well, what do we do? Next door, there's this arcade. Walked in, bought the arcade,
Okay.
turned it into their first bar, and it all started from there.
It was called University Pub. It was across from UNLV.
Okay.
And they built this thing with their bare hands from scraps. So they went around town looking for, scrap appliances and built the benches and the booths themselves and all the
Wow.
tables and built the bar out. And so, they built their first 5 to 10 locations
By hand.
literally by hand.
Yep.
And from there they started kind of automating their business a bit and learning what to do. And
How to kind of
Man.
go from hustler to, businessman. and
Operator,
operator.
operators. And so they grew, the chain's called PT's Pub.
Yep.
And it's a brand name here in Las Vegas. So if you know Las Vegas, you know PT's Pub.
Yeah. How many are out here now?
Now there's almost 60.
60 to 70 now?
something
Yeah.
like
And it's named after them, Phil and Tom.
Phil and Tom's
Real
Pub.
original.
You know what's funny is it used to be called PT Boakley's.
Oh,
But the
okay.
reason they broke it down to PT's Pub was they couldn't afford the full signage. So they had,
A lot
Well,
shorter.
PT's Pub is better.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells you exactly what it is.
It does.
so it's just funny. They could not afford the full Boakley sign. So they broke it down to PT's Pub and they built 37 locations and then a hotel and casino as well.
Wow.
And then sold them all.
Then they sold them all, and now they've got their eyes set on a bunch of bigger things. But tell us a little bit about what it was like, growing up as kids then. Obviously entrepreneurial fathers, they're building this huge empire of, businesses and everything. And then, how did that influence you guys growing up?
It was great, honestly. I mean, it's so valuable to be just surrounded by that type of thinking, by that type of person. And since they're so, I guess, well known in town, you get to meet everyone.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had tickets to all the shows and, the beverage companies would give us tickets to all the NASCAR events
Yeah.
and all the sporting events. But it's crazy. I didn't grow up playing sports. I grew up walking bars and walking construction jobs and watching him build this empire from ground up is what I remember from my childhood is always being around the business and the construction side of their business.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, obviously you grew up in that business. You guys went to UNLV both, right?
No, so I went to Arizona State.
Oh, that's right, Arizona
Yeah.
State.
I went to Chapman in California.
Okay. And then you come back from college, and then what happens?
Yeah, so Jesse and I, we grew up together, and then we split ways for probably 10 years.
Went
And
to college in Arizona. I went to California.
Okay.
Right, and then
You
we
came
came
back.
back. I jumped right into residential real estate for 2 years, and then I moved over to commercial real estate for 2 years.
And when you're doing those, you're just an agent.
Just an agent, yeah.
Okay.
So I just started. I was a retail agent with Berkshire Hathaway on a nice team, and did it for 2 years. Loved it, but wanted to explore the commercial game a little bit. So, I got a mentor here in town that's a well-known guy here in town, and started doing retail leasing and acquisitions and dispositions of shopping centers, which was a fantastic learning experience, and kind of kicked my ass into gear.
Yeah.
Real estate gear.
Yeah.
You did. Because after college, I took a totally different path.
Yeah.
So I was in Orange County, Chapman University, and then graduated there, lived in LA just doing the whole I'm young, trying to figure it out.
Were you going to be an actor?
I was not. That was the one thing I knew I was not going to do. I cannot act. So I lived there for a little while.
He's a singer, though.
Yeah.
You should hear him. Hear me
You
in
got
the
the
shower.
voice of an angel.
Hear me in the shower, baby.
He's a songbird.
And then, so that was 2 years in LA. And then I went, our dads had been starting a technology company, and the office was based out of Sunnyvale.
What
based
didn't these
San
guys like
Francisco.
try and start?
They have their toes in everything. I
Yeah.
swear.
Crazy.
And so I worked in that office up in the South Bay, living in Palo Alto for about 2 years. And then when that office actually moved back to Vegas, we teamed up again. We were like, we need to do something.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when Boakley Group
It was
born.
crazy. I mean, we went years without really spending a lot of time with each other. And then immediately we were like, okay, we're going to do this. I think, Jesse's dad saw the opportunity he had with Jesse and Jesse's motivation to kind of pursue bigger things in life, kind of maturing. And same with me. My dad saw me maturing with the commercial side of the business, and my real estate knowledge was growing. So they finally felt comfortable giving us the opportunity to start flipping homes. And
Right.
literally the flip of a switch, within one day, Jesse and I were in an office by ourselves flipping homes.
Getting serious.
Buying homes. And we, in 2016, probably October, November, we bought our first property. We were in it ourselves trying to change light switches.
Oh, we did.
We thought, okay.
We hung ceiling fans.
Right, we're swinging hammers and we're doing as much as we can.
Because that's what
on
you
our
saw
own.
growing up. You're like,
Right.
this is how it's done.
That's you
Right.
get in there. And
This
you
is
do
how
it.
you got to learn.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we did 3. We made money on them, which was great. So
Yeah.
we were successful for the first couple that, towards the end of the year.
But they
The
didn't.
house is
they-
probably falling apart, but it's all good.
Right.
right now, right? I know everything's broken, but they didn't expect us to do
Yeah.
nearly what we
Right.
did. They were
Right.
like, "You'll just start this and flip." a
Yeah,
couple,
they're
and next
like,
year
let's
you'll-
give these guys a
you'll
shot,
flip a
see what's
couple."
up.
They like later on, years later, talking to them, he's like, "Okay, I expected maybe 3 to 5 houses, 3 to 5 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
We did 3 to 5 in like a few months. Next year, full calendar year, we did like 27.
Yeah.
So they were, wait, I didn't plan on this. We need to give you guys more money."
Right.
Yeah.
It was like 2016, fourth quarter, we did 3. 2017, we did 26. 2018, we did 46.
Yeah.
And then 2019, 2020, we did about 50 to 56 each.
Yeah.
And then now 2021, we're
So
rolling
what-
full steam ahead.
What led you to, real estate? Obviously, growing up, you're in the bars, you're in tech companies, you're in Palo Alto, you're like doing all these things. And then Landon, you become a realtor. Like, why?
Right. So, in the downturn, the guys owned a lot of land. So they felt the pain of the downturn. They kept their head above water because they're smart guys and they're hustlers. They started flipping homes, and they became pretty large flippers. I mean, they were doing probably 75 properties a year, from 2010 through 2013 or something, 2008 through 2013. So when I came home from college, I needed some work when I came home. So, dude, I was in the flips, hanging fans, hanging vanity lights.
Right.
Every year I would come home for the summer, I'd start hanging lights. I'd start working for the guys on the flips. And it's just when I was little, I was building Connect sets. Like my Christmas presents were Connect sets or Legos or like I was not a sports guy. I was always building something, always playing with tools.
Right.
Like just fascinated with construction for some reason, and
Yeah.
so.
Well, and it goes back to our original thing of like, you guys are very passionate about the construction process and the rehab process. Like, obviously it's influenced a lot by growing up, like literally just doing it. Like you just said, when I look at a hammer, like I get confused. I'm like, how do I use, like, what do I do with this? It's like, man, the battery's dead on the drill. Like,
Guess we can't do anything.
I'm like, I don't have a backup. Like, what am I supposed to do? I
Give
guess we're
yourself
done.
some credit. I know you're better than that.
I know you're smart, man.
I think I've hung one fan back in the day, and it was like a whole day process. It was
The
tough
first
to do.
one always takes a whole day.
Yeah.
It's just a passion.
But that
It's-
question,
that's
we've
why,
been asked that question a lot, and I feel like we both had growing up some sort of subconscious voice that was like, "You're gonna do real estate."
Right.
And
Yeah.
I didn't tell myself that. No one told me that. It's just something I kind of just assumed was gonna happen, and
Maybe-
I liked it. I was happy about it.
We moved a lot, and maybe that's what it was. Is like I remember moving houses every 2 to 3 years.
You won
with
that
my
capital
family. Like,
gains.
so I looking back, it's like, okay, now I'm putting the pieces together as to why we moved, and
And
it
where
was
we
always
moved to.
moving up, and
Yep.
I lived in a lot of houses, when I was little, and some people were like, I live in the same house. My parents live in the same house.
Yeah,
Their parents lived
that's a little
in, and
weird
it's
to me.
like,
Yeah, super weird.
Yeah.
and it's like for us, it's like we moved. I probably moved 15 houses when I was a kid.
And these guys, keep in mind, like, I didn't realize where we were going or where we were moving until I grew up. But like, they were, early 30s, 32, 33. They built like these custom multi-million-dollar houses in the fountains.
Yeah.
Even in the fountains.
I've heard of it. I
Old
don't think
Green
I've been
Valley
there. Yeah.
neighborhood, but it's like so
It was the
ornate.
neighborhood, yeah.
It's so ornate and it's just wild
Yeah.
to think, okay, well, I'm 30. Like I'm kind of approaching that age, and to be doing that, to own multiple bars and be basically like building a dream house, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, thinking about it in hindsight, you're like, dang, these
Yeah.
guys were crushing it.
You were getting after it back
Yeah.
then.
I feel like my whole life, and my sister feels the same way. She's an entrepreneur just like we are, but I feel like our whole lives it's been a race against them to try to become more wealtty than they are. At a specific
Just level
age.
it
It's
up,
like,
Yeah.
because they've always told us like, man, by the time when we were 30, we were going gangbusters with the bars and business, and I'm 30 now, and it's like, man, am I behind? I don't know. I can't
I don't
tell.
have any bars. They had 20.
Right. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just, real estate's always been our blood.
Yeah.
I feel like it was, I knew it when I went to college. I was like, you know what? I'm going to college for fun, and I'm coming home and I'm doing real estate. So it's like, does this degree even matter? Probably not. I'm here for a good time, and to socialize.
Yeah, no, I feel you, dude. So just tell me a little bit about, obviously you guys are extremely successful now in real estate, going on 5 years, and just the progression of where you guys started to hanging fans yourself, to doing all that stuff, to now you just told me buying, your biggest flip yet. You guys are buying one for like 1.6 million and, try and sell it for 3 million. Like that's exciting. So tell me about like just how the progression has been, like now going from, hey, we're working for our dads to like branching off and doing our own thing.
It took some time. Like it was definitely something, the under the wing type of feeling is good at first. It's very comforting.
I think everyone needs a mentor.
They
If
need
it's your
us,
dad,
yes.
it's
someone.
even better.
Right.
But at first, it's super comforting to be insulated with that. And then you progress to a point where it's a hindrance on your growth personally and business-wise.
Right.
Well, we've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah, and I think just in the past maybe year or two, we've kind of decided to shake that.
Yep.
And then kind of put ourselves out there and, join a coaching program and learn from other mentors, not just the single-sided advice that we've been getting, which is not bad. But again, it only goes so far.
Yeah.
So since then, the last year or two, I think that's really helped us open our eyes to, wow, we can take this thing a lot farther than we thought.
Right. I think we've just become more confident. We did one big deal and sold it and made some money on it, and we're like, okay, that was fun, but let's play cautious and tiptoe into one more. So we're doing one big deal a year.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
do one a month.
especially where the market's at. I mean, we have right now $2 million plus flips going. Plus next week we close on the $1.7 million deal. So it's like we're kind of going and gearing ourselves towards the luxury side of the market.
Yeah. And let me touch on a couple of things you mentioned there. For those listening, to give some context, 1.7 million in Vegas is like a lot. You guys might be in Cali like, yeah, I could get, an entry-level home, whatever.
2-bedroom, 1 bath.
Yeah, like these are like, risky, legitimate investments here in Vegas. Like that's a big deal. The second thing you guys mentioned was the coaching program. So you guys are in our Future Flipper All-Star program. And the one thing that impressed me about you guys, just, watching from afar, we're in the same market, we're technically competitors. And then for you guys to be like, hey, we want to learn. We want to get outside of our comfort zone, see what you're doing, because we have different business models. You're like, we want to just open our minds up. We've learned one way. And as you just said, like, we want to do different stuff. And I think that's so key to anyone's growth. Doesn't matter if you're in real estate or whatever, like, open your mind to like many different ways to do things. And that's kind of one of the things we had our initial conversation about in the program was like, hey, okay, tell me the way you're doing it now, and let me tell you how I do it. And then, you know, maybe you blend them together. Maybe you
take pieces.
Yeah, you don't have to do it the exact same way.
Right.
We've used a ton of the value that you've given us, honestly. We've taken a lot of it to heart. And, you know, from the creative financing structures and, you know, being able to jump into, you know, using different financing sources and the hard money sources. I mean, that's caused our business to explode.
Yeah.
You know, we're profiting so much more on each property now.
And that was an hour conversation that just was like a quick thing where I was like, hey, I've been watching you guys do it this way for a while. I think you can double, triple profits if you do it this way.
Very right. You're so right. It's a thing where it's great to be comfortable because you're doing well, but then again, it can be your worst enemy to not allow you to think outside of your box or search, even decide to search for other avenues of doing things.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, you know, like Jesse said, we have always played just more on the conservative side. You know, when we're buying, we're very cautious with buying. I mean, we give kudos to ourselves, you know, that we haven't lost money on a lot of homes.
Right.
Like, you know, our business model is to not lose money.
That's
like,
a really understated statement
Right.
there, because when you talk to flippers, they'll tell you about their losses.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a real flipper if you haven't
Your
lost.
year, I mean, you're 20, what is it, 19?
2019, yeah. I lost $500,000 on bad deals.
Right. I think our maximum loss, you know, over 225 homes now is, I think 20 grand on one property that just went as a disaster.
That was the biggest loss.
Total over the years is probably under $60,000 in losses over the last 5 years.
That's crazy.
In baseball, that's batting 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
But you know, then the caveat to that is, you know,
Are you taking enough risk?
joining your
Right.
your program and watching you and talking to you, our mental now is to be confident and take a little bit more risk within our
Definitely.
business. And we've been doing that, and we've been doing it because we watch guys like you with your business, and it's like, you know, losing sometimes is okay, but because you're going to win a lot more than you lose.
It gets you
Right.
5 more wins.
Exactly.
You know?
And we're trying to take that into account with our business now, because, you know, traditionally we've been conservative. We're starting to play a little bit more aggressive now, and I think
in
it's
today's
because of you.
market. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we talked about that on the coaching call yesterday or 2 days ago about, hey, this market, now's the time to get really aggressive.
Yeah.
You know?
Go for it.
Yeah. And there's, you know, you got to switch the aggressiveness
Right.
depending on how the market and the world and everything's going. Right now is like unlike anything I've ever seen for
In our
getting-
lifetimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's like, you know, back to 2004, 2005 levels or better.
Yeah.
And how long is it going to last? You know, what's your prediction on that?
You know, I was one of the very few saying last year during COVID that, hey, everyone else is scared, like I'm buying.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm like,
That stuck out to us.
yeah. And it goes with risk tolerance, but I truly believed what was going to happen. Actually, you know, luckily I was right. I said that they're not going to let people get foreclosed on. They're going to continue to lower rates and pump money. Like this is inevitable.
He knew someone in the government.
I did.
He knew someone.
I added in with Trump.
There it is.
So he was telling me, and he's like, I'm probably going to get impeached again and all this stuff. But
Yeah, because we stopped when you were buying. I mean, we were watching, and you were telling, you know, publicly saying buy, buy.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here saying, no, he's crazy.
But sometimes
Seriously.
it takes seeing someone that you consider like a peer
Yeah.
to go out and do it and succeed to say, I can do that too.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you too, you know, like one of our mission statements on this podcast is inspire. And so like, even me, there are so many times that I've been hesitant or I'm like, dude, that guy's crazy or that's stupid. And it takes like seeing it work where you're like, all right, I'm all in, baby. Like,
Yeah.
and so for me, one of those things was YouTube. You know, over the years, I saw YouTube and I'd heard of YouTubers and I'm like, why would I waste time making like these videos? Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then I see what these guys make. Like, I mean, there's guys now making millions every month based on, and I know them. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
It is.
I can't believe I didn't like try and do this earlier.
I remember sitting like late up at night watching YouTube in high school, but never thinking like, well, what's the other side of this? Like,
Yeah.
let me be a creator, not just a consumer of this
Yep.
content. And I just didn't even register.
Yeah.
But if it did back then, I mean, Mr. Beast would be here, and we'd be here.
I mean, it is truly unbelievable what the social media world has grown into, and what it's come to, and we're trying to ride that same path as well.
Yeah, you guys are starting your channel right now, right?
We are. We've been filming and are set to launch in April.
Okay.
So we're very, very excited.
What's the channel going to be called?
Oakley Brothers.
Okay, so the Boakley Brothers. We will link to it down below. By the time this airs, you guys will probably be launched right around then. So definitely go subscribe to them. I would suggest
talking real estate, talking flipping, talking finance. So
okay. Are you guys going to do any type of giveaway? I would do a giveaway
for like a first episode, or
just like for everyone subscribing. Guys, they're going to do a giveaway, so make sure you guys subscribe.
It's a great idea.
Giveaway it is.
Yeah.
How much should we give?
I think you can give probably, I don't know, up to you guys. You give away $1,000 to a couple of people, whoever subscribed. Give away free phone calls.
All right.
I was going to say, like,
couple coaching calls.
Yeah.
Cash phone calls. I mean, everyone loves cash.
Yeah.
But are there other things like maybe like interactions with you, or
that's what I'm saying, like
flying them out or something?
Yeah, dude, that'd be tight too.
Yeah.
Maybe the grand prize is somebody who gets to spend a day with you guys at one of your $1.7 million flips.
Right,
like that would be
cool.
dope. If you guys would like that, comment below.
Let's go.
So
we are game for that. We'd love to have someone come out.
Yeah, we did the giveaway for this podcast, and it's helped tremendously. That's why I'm suggesting
Great
it.
advice.
Can there be a saturation of different worlds and metaverses that people always create, and then how much money have you spent on one so far, in one platform so far, where someone comes along and creates a new one and everyone goes there? How much is your land worth at that point?
Right. So it's very similar to what happens in the real world and social media. So remember, the real world was the first version, social media is the second version, Metaverse the third version.
Yeah.
So in the real world, people have asked us, like, well, you could just create new metaverses. Land is infinite with that. I'm like, well, land's infinite in the real world too, right? Like all the land between here and California is not worth anything.
Right.
The reason it's not worth anything is because there's no people there.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of the day, we as humans, I don't know what the percentage is, but how much of the earth do we actually use and live on?
Yeah. It's
What-
very, very little.
10 to 20%,
Yeah.
right?
Coastlines, pretty much.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's more than enough land, but people don't pay for it.
Sure.
In social media, the same is true, right? Like there are emerging platforms that are hot. It was Facebook first. Everyone was on Facebook. Then they all left. They went to Snapchat.
Right.
They went to
Vine
and then now you have TikTok, right? Like, so people are always moving to the next big thing. But then there's still the people that remain on all those platforms. Like, it's not like it just died. Some died, but some remained and adjusted and adapted. So when we look at the metaverse, the same thing will happen, right? There's these initial ones like Decentraland and Sand who are first, and people will buy there, and people will, do what they do, whatever. But at the end of the day, there will be more that people go to that fit their needs better. I think there's going to be metaverses for real estate investors, for gamers, for athletes. Like there's going to be these different niches where it's like, oh, I'm interested in sports. Like I want to go hang out with all the sports people. That's where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in business. Where's the business metaverse? I don't want to play games. Like I want to network.
Sure.
That's how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
I think so. That could happen. I think also there will be, just like you see social media platforms come and go, which we're talking about, there'll be optimizations in them that will drive new traffic. So obviously if you put Facebook next to MySpace,
right?
It's like, well, obviously I want to use Facebook because MySpace looks like a dinosaur compared to that.
Yep.
So as they continue to optimize either the way that you engage with it, the resolution of things, how real life it actually feels, people will gravitate towards the latest and the greatest.
Yeah. So like the way I look at it too is Fortnite is a great example of a metaverse that people don't realize is a metaverse. It's a game first and foremost, but people pay money to upgrade their character, to get new clothes and skins and, whatever, right? And then they're holding concerts in the metaverse. Like they had a Travis Scott.
The Marshmallow concert.
Yeah, like they're holding concerts where people hang out.
Yeah.
And guess what? Like when you go to play games with your friends, it's cool. Like you guys are chatting, you guys are playing. Like it's a great place to hang out.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, when I look at but here's the deal. With Fortnite, you own nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite owns it all. They want to kick you out. They want to delete your character. they do that. That's what, same thing with Facebook and YouTube and these guys.
Mhm.
With the other ones, that can't happen. So,
So no censorship, there's no regulations as to what you can do.
well, I mean, whoever creates that metaverse is going to be able to dictate the rules, but it's not like anyone can go take your land.
Right.
You own it. It's on the blockchain. It will never be taken from you. So, whereas my podcast and YouTube channel could get deleted tomorrow.
Sure. We say the wrong thing, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone, right? Start talking about the vaccine, it's gone.
Yep.
So, nonetheless,
Edit that out.
I'll leave it in. I don't
Yeah.
care. So, nonetheless, I think that's going to happen. And I also think that games are going to be a big part of this. And that's why I'm so into crypto gaming now, because I just don't see people hanging out online for the sake of just hanging out.
Just to talk. We got
I
to be
don't-
doing something.
That to me is a Zoom call. Like, okay,
Yeah.
a Zoom call is a way to just talk, but nobody hangs out on a Zoom for like 5 hours.
Mhm.
We have an
As soon
agenda.
as it's done, you're off.
Yeah.
you don't want to be on it for any longer than you have to.
So that's why I think in order for these metaverses to get traffic, there's going to be a gaming element to it. And guess what? Like a big thing you're seeing with these metaverses is called P2E, play to earn. So like they're incentivizing people to stay on the metaverse to play and make money. And with Fortnite and stuff, that doesn't exist. Like the more you play, it's not like you get paid. Like,
No.
yeah, your character can get upgraded and whatever, but on the blockchain, what if by playing and winning these games, you get NFTs with these
Mhm.
things, right? And you can either make your land better, you can make your character better, or you can sell them to whoever wants what you
Sure,
have.
Sure.
And now you're making money by hanging out there.
Yeah, the making money of aspect is very interesting. I was like kind of struck when the concept of a rental property could exist in the metaverse, where you either have maybe like a commercial space or
Yep.
a space that people want to actually place maybe their business or whatever they want inside of your property in the metaverse,
Yep.
because whatever that area is so desirable,
Yeah,
and you make passive income that way.
yeah, it's no different than the real world.
No.
Like if you have a desirable piece of land where people are around and
Mhm.
people want to be near it, guess what? That's a good ad.
Yeah.
It's worth a lot of money.
It's worth a lot of money depending on
insane.
whether you sell it. Dude, it's like, think about this. Like the reason people pay me to, sponsor a video is because of the traffic and the eyeballs.
Yeah.
They know that the right people are watching this video. The metaverse is literally the same thing. There are the right people in that metaverse. Okay, if this is the business metaverse, land here is going to be more valuable to the people who want to do advertisements for business.
Right.
Yeah.
For high-end products, for luxury products, for
Yeah,
any type of business.
think about marketing. It used to be, okay, man, like we got to advertise in the newspaper. We got to advertise on
Yeah.
billboards, then TV. Then it was like, okay, we'll advertise on Facebook ads and then influencer marketing. And it will keep doing that into the metaverse.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
Big.
Nike just bought, I forget what they're called, but they just bought this big NFT company because Nike sees it. They're like, we need to get Nike in front of people in the metaverse.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They're going to release shoes that you can only see
Yep.
in your VR headsets and
Yeah.
stuff that you can only wear in metaverses.
Yeah, and
things
that was like the whole NFT collection. It was like fashion and
Yeah.
shoes and stuff, and like they were making these crazy digital shoes
Yeah.
that couldn't exist in the real world. Nike's like, we'll just throw a swoosh on those, and
we're still way too entrenched in our real life real estate business activities to go digital yet, but
Well,
soon enough, hopefully.
well, okay. Here's the last part of that: is I think it's still so early. This is what I told people on the call. I'm like, guys, do not go out and buy all this metaverse real estate because I'm all hyped up about it.
Yeah.
You're addicted to it.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, guys, don't do what I do. Like, I've been thinking about this for a year now, and I'm just now finally like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna do this. It's still so early. I think it's like, it could be 5 years before, like at the earliest, where we're now like doing what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But if you can get ahead of it,
Sure.
there's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah. I still like encourage people to go just explore it and find out what it is for yourself. Find out if you're interested in it. But
You
Don't-
got to know about it, right? Because it's where the
And
world's going. So
it's
you
fun.
gotta know a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at social media and stuff. Like, if somebody's not on social media at this point, you're like, this guy covering up a murder. Like, what is
Right.
this
You're getting
guy's?
left behind.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, you're weird. Like, why are you not on social media? There's something you hiding? Like, what's the deal? And I think it'll be like that down the road, you know, where it'll be like, what metaverses do you like to hang out in? Like,
Yeah.
where can I find you?
Oh, you're unplugged?
Yeah.
Whoa.
But it would tell a lot about you.
Sure,
You'd be like,
right.
okay, that's kind of who you are. All right.
Yeah.
Which one's that?
Oh, I'm just saying,
some
like,
fake one.
if you're not involved, like, it is going to be a little bit
Weird.
strange. Way into the future, maybe not even that far. It's going to be weird if you're not engaged.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the next step for you guys? I mean, like you're talking about, you know, growing your business, and you guys had a record year this last year and made all these millions of dollars. Like, what from here?
So big part of that has been seeing the way you and other people turn it around and face that success and information back towards the people that listen and follow and want to learn. So it's back into educating people that want to learn what we do. So that was something that we just started. We launched January 1st was the official opening of the Boakley Brothers Academy.
Yep.
And we've kind of dug into what it is that we do and the special ways that we do it that makes it different from everyone else. And for those that find value in learning those specific ways, we want to be open to teaching people.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing for this year that we want to continue to grow and gather students, create a community, because we've benefited so much by being a part of yours and other communities by just the people you meet.
Right.
Regardless of the content and the information that you serve up, it's the network. So we want to create that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the collaboration side of things and the transparency. You know, we do want to give back. We do want to educate because we've, you know, been blessed with what we've done, what we've been given, and the opportunities we've been given. But the transparency and the education side creates more opportunities for everyone as well. And I think that's something that we look forward to seeing what comes out of it.
Yeah, for sure. So you're going to do that. Obviously, you're going to continue to make content,
Oh, yeah.
grow that.
Oh, yeah.
What about on the real estate side?
Yeah, so we've turned a couple of our rentals into fully furnished rentals, and then now we're back to 30-day plus Airbnbs until they legalize them here in Las Vegas. So this year, we need to, for tax purposes and for long-term wealth building purposes, we're looking to buy probably 20 to 25 buy and hold properties. Hopefully here in Vegas. Hopefully most of them going towards the Airbnb side of the business. But that's something that's really on our mind that we want to attack head on this year is more long-term wealth building assets.
Yeah. So you told me before that, you know, you did an Airbnb in one of these areas that they didn't allow, so they shut you down, and then you converted it to a long-term rental, but furnished.
Furnished.
So what was like the price difference between those?
It's a pretty
It's crazy.
serious premium. I would say we probably generate 25% more in rents just by putting some furniture in there.
Yeah.
And we've done that even in future rentals after that one that we discussed on purpose. We've decided, okay, this one we're going to buy as a furnished rental. We know we can't Airbnb it, but let's say it rents for probably $3,000 a month on normal unfurnished year-long tenant.
Yep.
We could probably get $4,000 a month renting it with furniture. And then we've just discovered, since Airbnb isn't allowed short-term in Vegas yet, but 30-day plus is.
Yeah.
We put that same property up and we're getting now $5,000 a month for that. So it's even farther into the premium.
So you're putting them on Airbnb and just waiting for a month rental.
Yeah, minimum 30 days. So
Yeah.
you can't even book it less than that or look at it less than that. And we just put it up 2 weeks ago, and we have someone now from the middle of this month all the way through the end of March. So
Most of the interest is over a month.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
They're coming here to do a project or
Yeah.
something.
They don't want to commit to a full year, but short term is too short for them.
Right. Once again, owning a little niche, right?
Yeah.
Like how many people are offering that type of thing? I was actually thinking about that model for my personal house. You know, whenever I move out, I'm like, do I just want to sell this or do I want to just keep it? It's already furnished. Like freaking
True.
just keep the furniture. Like I'm not taking it with me.
right.
No, if it's a house, it belongs there.
And you have
Yeah.
the basketball court and the barbecue, and
Yeah.
you have a pretty sick house for Airbnb. And that's
Yeah.
one thing that we do look for with our properties is, you know, that Airbnb amenities such as, you know, definitely has to have a pool. You know, this one house has 6 bedrooms, so we could fit a lot of people in it.
Right.
We have one that we're in escrow to buy right now that's 4,000 square foot. It's kind of like a big compound, has 7 bedrooms,
Whoa.
half court basketball court, big pool.
And you're
So-
buying this straight out the gate, knowing you're going to Airbnb it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're buying it just as a 10% down
Oh,
investment property.
nice. Where's it at?
It's off of Blue Diamond.
Okay.
So it's right near that 10 minutes away from the airport, 10 minutes away from the strip, right
Yeah.
next to Target and all the food over there.
Yeah.
Kind of where
So-
there's like some vacant lots and stuff
Yeah, yeah.
scattered around.
You're not
so it
going to
doesn't
have neighbors
on you.
complaining.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
Do you look for that, just being like more secluded instead of being just in your big neighborhood where everyone's complaining?
Yeah, because I think if you're looking, put yourself in the shoes of somebody that wants to rent and come to Vegas to rent a house. If I'm not going to be on the strip, staying in a great hotel room, and I'm not going to be surrounded by all of it, and I'm staying at a house, why does that house need to be next to any particular thing? I just
Right.
want that house to be as cool as it can
Mhm.
be, because I'm going to have to get in a car to go to the stadium, to go to a show, to go to dinner,
Right.
whatever. I already signed myself up for that. So that house can be a little bit like secluded from a neighborhood or something. It doesn't really matter as long as the house is sweet.
Yeah.
But also that first one, I mean, when we got caught, we have a video on it. That was booked out for like 5 months straight right out of the gate. It's a super nice house, centrally located near the airport with nice amenities. But right away, the neighbors
They got pissed.
called,
Yeah.
right away. So not having those neighbors right on top of you, I think, is a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. My buddy, I remember he had like 30 Airbnbs and he was running them friggin' under the table.
Mhm.
And he got some caught, but his whole strategy was just be in like these neighborhoods where you got huge lots, people are like far from each other, and he's like, that way we just don't really have headache, doesn't matter to them. But if you're in an HOA or something, you're pretty much toast.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
I mean, going back to this one that's in escrow, kind of towards the gamer side of things and the crypto side of things. I mean, we have a company, I have a buddy who does esports, and he's like, dude, I could put gamers in that house as a gamer house for at least 10 or 12,000 a month right out of the gate. So it's like, you kind of start thinking of those opportunities with these houses too. And that's never really happened before, where these gaming teams rent these houses for super high amounts and they just play in them all day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Corporate rentals are big too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For
having,
sure.
Having events, like your house is a great place to have a company come to have an event.
Right. Yeah, something to think about. I just hope that Vegas changes their rules so we don't even have to like worry about like, oh, is this gonna be okay? Is that gonna be okay? Like, what do you think is gonna happen?
I'm thinking it's going to happen this year.
I think they're going to mimic Henderson. You
Yeah.
know, it's already built. It's already put together. They have to do it by, I think, July 1st.
They have to
July
have
was
like a new thing.
The
Yeah.
date that they've put out so far, we'll see if that gets kicked.
Nobody can really Airbnb anymore because you can't be within 1,000 square
Right,
feet of
right.
someone, and it's just like they've already got all their licenses. Like the whole area,
Yeah.
if you actually look at it, is pretty tapped out.
I know. You look at those green circles and try
Yeah.
to find one that's set apart. That's why I think for those that want to do it, once the floodgates open in Vegas, you're going
Yeah.
to have to be on it right
Yeah,
away.
It's going to be
Yeah.
floodgates. It's going to be
Yeah.
just first come, first serve, and it's going to be a battle to get to that desk.
And then once it's built up, once the setbacks or there's no space,
Right.
there can be no more.
I just think like let it be a free for all. Like at the end of the day, I would definitely say the HOAs have control. Like, hey, if your HOA doesn't let you Airbnb, tough
Can't do
luck,
it. Right.
right? But if you don't have an HOA, let people like that's why they don't have an HOA, so they can do whatever they want, right? And I think for instance, I have 2 or 3 in Henderson that I bought, and I was like, oh man, these would be tight Airbnbs. Like, let's see. And I look, I'm like, there's one that's 900 feet away. I'm like, dude,
It's that close.
yeah. I'm like, we can't. What's the exceptions here?
I know.
You know?
And there's none.
Yeah, there's none. I'm like,
It's
literally, there's no how. There's not. It's one guy. So dumb, dude.
The whole
so what are you going to do
stigma-
with it?
I don't know yet. I think I did a YouTube video on it. It's just now done. I might freaking, who knows? Maybe I'll flip it. But my plan was to initially just rent it out long term or furnish it like you guys are doing. Do a 30-day rental and just, be done with it. Like, I
Let
don't
it
know.
Appreciate.
Yeah, just let it do its thing. But I lean towards keeping it just for the taxes. But I just think the whole thing's dumb. I'm just like, I've already experienced it with Big Bear too. Like at the end of the day, people complain about there being no inventory. It's like there's no inventory anywhere. Like it sucks for everybody.
Yeah.
You think it's just like you're the only one with this problem? Investors have a tough time getting houses
We
now.
all do.
Yeah, like you ain't the only one with this problem. Then they're like, oh, the hedge funds are buying all these up. Well, yeah, you complain that there's no rentals for rent, right? Who's going to buy the houses to put them up for rent? Somebody's got to do it, right? So the hedge funds do it. Then people complain about the hotels and this stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, because freaking you don't let Airbnb. You know, it's just like everyone complains about something. I'm like, let it all be a free for all.
Let it happen.
Yeah.
But the hotel's got to make some money off. You know, the city's got to make money. The hotel's got to make money.
I'm
so
fine
I think
with that.
That's where it's going.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, tax it. That's fine.
Figure out $1 and
Right.
tack it on and let us go.
Right.
Let us do it.
Yeah.
Why does it matter if there's one next door to each other? It's, you know, more
That's
tax
better.
for the city. Yeah, it's better for the city.
It's better for the
hotels.
city and it's better for, you know, those two people. It's like, oh,
Right.
cool. You know, both of them are doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully, I think they'll finally adjust as time goes on, because one thing I always do is I study history about how all these things played out. And that's why like my feelings about the metaverse are what they are. Just thinking historically how this has happened. But I was reading the book about Uber and how they got started. And basically what Uber did was super cutthroat. They were just like, we're going into every city. I don't care if they say it's legal or not. We're just doing it. And so they would go into each city and then they would be like dodging the city officials and all this stuff. And like literally they just blanketed the whole city with Uber drivers and incentives to get them to sign up, so that there were so many drivers that the city couldn't do anything about it.
They got too
Yeah,
big.
they
to
just
take down.
They got too big, and the taxis tried to fight them. Everyone tried to fight them, but at that point, they grew too large, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. And then, look, you've got Uber everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you've got Lyft. It's a great thing for society. You know, the fact that I can just go on my phone and have a car here in 5 minutes is amazing.
It is.
Right. And if you don't want to go stay in a hotel with a global pandemic going on and be around a bunch of people, and you want to stay in a single home with your family, I mean, it's not a bad, not a bad thing to have.
Well,
as
think
a
about
city.
it too. Like all the thing, like, okay, the city makes taxes. That's great, right? It attracts more people to the city, right? Because there's more places to stay. People can now afford to go travel as a family. Dude, if you try to travel a family of, 6, getting 3 hotels is super expensive.
Oh, yeah.
One Airbnb is the same price.
Right.
So somebody who might not have come to Vegas is now coming because of the affordable cost. Another one is just like the people buying the houses now have some strategy. Like the reason I haven't kept rentals in Vegas because they just don't pencil out, right? Like on long-term rent, you might break even or maybe even lose money based on just where rents are compared to what we have to buy them for. And it's like, if I could keep more rentals, I totally would if you gave me another option to like monetize it.
Sure.
And, what does that do? It makes people buy more houses here in Vegas. It makes prices
more money
go
in the
up, makes more money, like gets things going.
I agree.
So I don't know, dude. It annoys me just thinking about the political side of things. I'm becoming
Hopefully
old.
a year from now, we'll sit down and talk again about how easy it is now.
Yeah.
And how it's all rolled out and it's all good.
You got
It's crazy,
100
though,
Airbnbs?
It's crazy though, because you see hundreds of them on Airbnb here in Vegas, and obviously they're not legal because it's not legal here in Vegas.
Right.
And we put one up and get caught within 10 days, after all the hard work.
What are the odds?
It. So it's like, man, made it so hard on us.
Luck of the draw, man.
Yeah. Luckily we got out of that though.
It's all good.
That's funny, dude.
Thanks for making it to the end. The good news is I've got another one that I know you're gonna like, and all you gotta do is click it right here. Linking it right here. All you gotta do is just click it, and you're gonna see this new episode that you're gonna love.
Let's say you're just sitting on some absolute winners and then you liquidate, and you're sitting on some losers. They would just say harvest the loss. So that's where the term is
Sell
coming
the
from.
losers. If
Sell
you
the
want back
losers.
in, buy back in 30 days later.
Exactly. So just harvest the loss while you can,
But crypto is like legit. I can buy
same
back
day.